Can I get your opinion on one thing? If the 25th Amendment is implemented, do you think that JD Vance would have the support of Republicans in implementing Project 2025? There is a lot to unpack there. Let's start with the 25th Amendment, which is way tougher to implement than most people think. First of all, it's not only JD Vance who would implement the 25th. It also would have to be the majority of Trump's cabinet that would have to sign off on that. And if that happened, he would still be president. He would just basically be neutered as far as power is concerned. But here's the kicker. If Trump thinks that he is still fit to be president, he can just write a letter to Congress and they will restore his power temporarily until they can take a vote on whether or not he should be removed or not. Then Congress would have to vote on 2/3 in both houses to decide whether or not he should be removed. Now, here's the fun part. If they decide not to remove him, how do you think he's going to react towards the people in his cabinet after that? Most of them are going to get fired. Not only that, he's probably going to try and sick his base on those people after he fires them, and they all know that, so they probably wouldn't vote to do that to begin with. Now let's go with the rest of your premise here. If they did implement the 25th Amendment, would the Republicans support JD Vance? Absolutely. They would support a ham sandwich if they thought they could get their agenda through. I guess that's kind of an unfair comparison because JD Vance kind of looks like a ham sandwich. But the Republicans in Congress would absolutely support everything that he's trying to do as far as Project 2025. Now, when it comes to the people of the Republican Party, that's going to probably be a lot more divided. There were a lot of people that were just Trump voters. They didn't really care about being Republicans. They just wanted to be part of the Trump cult. So when these Project 2025 things start to implement and it affects them, they're going to start blaming JD Vance for it. They're going to say, you're ruining Trump's legacy. You're messing everything up. The closest comparison that I can think of is when Gerald Ford took over for Nixon, and a lot of the people did not like Ford, and they blamed him for a lot of the stuff that Nixon put into place. I know this is going to be weird to say, but Gerald Ford was not nearly as charismatic as Nixon was, and the same thing is going to happen with JD Vance. The thing that Gerald Ford was most remembered for was falling down the stairs of Air Force One, so if JD Vance becomes president, there's that to hopefully look forward to. But if JD Vance did take over, I just don't see him getting a second term. I have a feeling that people are just going to look at him as like Timu Trump, and they're just going to decide, I'm not feeling it when the next election rolls around. Now, I could be totally wrong on that, because if this presidency has taught me anything, is that the rules just don't apply to anything anymore. But since you want my opinion, I don't think they're going to use the 25th Amendment against him unless he just starts looking way too far gone, just like drooling and can't talk and that sort of thing. And even then, I think they will probably be a little bit hesitant to go that route. Besides, I kind of want his supporters to see him disintegrate in real time because they're not going to let him go ethically. But if they start to see him become a liability and embarrass them, maybe.